So after recording yesterday's video on how to build a module, I realized that I had failed to discuss two sort of pretty important aspects of building a module, and that is the how to use and how to work with the preset system, and then how to include the files that you need to make your module future compatible with the current version of Music SDP that is out and the versions that came before it. So in this follow-up video, I'm going to cover those two topics, and we're going to start by looking at the preset system. So here I've got the wavetable synthesizer back up. I haven't actually made any modifications on it since the previous video, so this is more or less exactly where we left it. Now let's talk about how to add presets to a module. This is a really easy process. It doesn't require any additional code to add presets, but there are a couple of tweaks we could make to make the presets more functional. So first, I'm going to stick with the parameters that we've already wrapped in with the msdp.param objects. What I'm about to show you will only work with interface objects that are connected to the msdp.param objects. And if you remember, we went ahead and connected most of what's on this first screen. Now I have gone ahead and made a couple of presets. There's the first preset and there's the second preset. The only thing that I changed for these presets was parameters 4, 5, and 6. The waveform type, the scale value, and the smoothing value. As a small little demonstration, right? So if we want to make a new preset, we set our interface elements where we want them to be. So I'll put that there. Let's see, I'll keep it on basic for what are hopefully obvious reasons. Let's set the waveform type to noise distorted. I'll set the scale to, well, let's go all the way out, and the smoothing will go all the way up. Now to make a preset, we simply go to the preset section, click on the drop-down menu, and hit Save Preset. Now if you notice, we don't have any system presets. I'm going to show you how to make system presets. Right now we only have project presets. When we save a new preset, it will automatically go into the project presets folder. So let's just hit Save Preset, and I'll call this Preset 3. So now, if we go back to our prior preset, there's Fractal Mono, Scale 2.3, and Smoothing 10. And here's preset 3, Noise Distorted, Scale 10, and Smoothing 100. So you can see that it did appropriately recall the values for that preset. And you can see that the pointer location is also updating. Now, I want to show you something pretty cool. Next to the preset name is this little value that says 0 and S. Now this is a glide time. Some of our parameters will be able to glide from one location to another. And we did that with the msdp.param.line objects. Right? So anytime you see msdp.param followed by a .line, what we're doing is we're defining that we have established parameters that can move and sort of fluidly rotate from one value to another. So what this number here represents is the amount of time that it will take for the values to glide from one preset to another. So to demonstrate that, I'll set that glide time to be 3 seconds. That's what the S is, seconds. And I'll switch from preset 3 back to preset 1. And we can watch those dials moving, gliding over. Now the waveform selector is not something I've defined as being a glide type, but if we really wanted to, we could switch that as well. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to glide between these values, so I'm going to leave that. But we do need to add in one more additional step to enable glide on those presets. So these parameters will already be able to glide when we send messages to those from, say, an automator or from a controller, but to make it glide from a preset, we need to do one more thing. So here's our preset code down here in the bottom of the screen. I'll bring that up a little bit more. Remember that anything in a burnt yellow panel does not need to be touched, and we won't be touching it here. We need to go to this blue panel next to it, and at the bottom of this blue panel we see a subpatch called Parameter Options. If we click on this, we can see sort of two settings, a list of high priority parameters and a list of rampable parameters that can glide. So the high priority parameters, this specifies which parameters should load first when a new preset is loaded. Sometimes we'll need to say this has to come before this. For example, if we're working with an audio file and we know that we're going to be setting a start time and stop time for a loop, we'll probably want to load the audio file before we set the loop start and stop times. Otherwise, loading the file might blast those out of the water. So this is a place where we can say, audio file load as parameter 1 in this theoretical space. Set that as a high priority parameter. We don't have anything in this module that needs to be high priority, which is nice. But we do have rampable parameters, and you can see here we have our lists of parameter 5 and parameter 6. So what this is saying is that parameters 5 and 6 can glide. If I then say remove one of those, let's remove parameter 5. So now I'm saying only parameter 6 is glidable. If we go from preset 1 to 3 now, notice that parameter 5 did not glide, it just leapt to that new spot. So anything that you want to glide needs to go in this list, and you simply place the names with a space in between them. But we probably want the volume knob to be glidable too, right? So let's set that in there as well, P3, P5, and P6. This does not actually have a required order. I just like to keep things in order, right? So now I've also said that the volume knob is glidable, and how about, while we're at it, the pointer location, so P3, P5, P6, and P7. Ultimately, all of these knobs I'm going to want to be glidable, but we don't really need to do that yet. So while we're on parameter 3, let's turn the volume all the way down, just for this demo. And I'm going to save that again, preset 3, and that will overwrite the previous one. And look at it gliding down. So now, let's go back to preset 1, and you can see a lot of things are gliding. So this is a way to sort of not just implement presets, but also allow this fluid and organic motion from one preset to another. So like I said, anytime that we save a preset in a module, it's going to automatically save to the project presets. Now, project presets save in the same folder with the rest of your project files. Let's see, I want to change something in the video. I'm not digging. Sure, why not? So project presets save in the same folder as the rest of your project file. Since we are building in the default project, those files will be there. And if we go into saved presets, you'll see there's a bunch of files in here. These are the built-in saved presets, as well as some other ones that I've made. But what's great is when someone opens a module for the first time, if they've never opened that module before, a new preset folder will be generated for them to use. So here at the bottom of the list we can see Wavetable Synth is a folder that's been built for us, and if we open that up, there are our presets. So if we want to move these from the project's presets to the system's presets, these presets need to go somewhere else. So I'm going to cut those, and now I'm going to go back to the main documents tree, music SDP, and I'm going to go to third-party presets. And just like everything else, we have our folders, our preset folders pre-built for us, and there's that Wavetable Synth folder. Again, this is something that loaded and built for me when I opened up this module for the first time. But if you're going to distribute your presets, you want to include these preset files with that folder. So you'll want to include this entire folder in your distributable package and either set it to install to third-party presets or give your users instructions on where to install it. But now I've opened up that folder, I'm going to paste our 3 presets in there. And now I'll quickly need to reload this module. So yeah, I'll save those changes, and I'll go back to the source code, system files, modules. I'm working in the templates again. Wavetable Synth, there that is running, and now we can see the presets have been moved from the project preset list to the system preset list. And there's that value, and we can set that to scale again, and we can move that down there. Okay, so there is one final thing that we need to discuss today, and that is making your modules backwards compatible. This is a quick task, but it is one that you have to remember to do. So we need all of the MSDP parameter and MSDP module objects included with our distributable package if we're going to distribute this to users who don't have the latest source code, which right now is everyone running the application state. But even moving forward, if we want users to be able to run your module sort of indefinitely into the future, there are specific patches that we need to include with our own distributable module. So to find these patches, we're going to go to the source code, go to System Files, and go to Includes. So source code, System Files, Includes. And what we want is everything that begins with MSDP dot. All right, so these are the newest tools in the collection, and these are the tools that correspond directly with the new templates and the discussion that we've made in these last two videos. So there's a number of them. We want to make sure we don't skip anything, right? You can see we have msdp.dial through msdp.param text edit. And you'll see some other MSDP underscore objects below those. I've recently switched from using underscore to using the dot. So you don't need to include the MSDP underscore. Those are, in effect, those are the legacy versions of those objects. So anything with MSDP dot in the name, you're going to want to simply copy and then include that in your distributable. And you want to make sure that that is installed to the document tree, music SDP, third party includes. I'll go ahead and paste that in. Now, when someone with the most recent code runs music SDP, the system will look at both the third-party includes folder and the application state folder, and if duplicates are found, it will run the most recent version of that patch, the newer version of that patch. So if these parameters get updated and you don't send out a newer distributable, that's okay. The users will still get the updated version with all the newest modifications. So that's all you'll need to do to make sure that everything is forward and backwards compatible with your modules. So again, to create your presets, you'll you'll save presets from the drop-down menu, and you'll move them into the third-party presets folder in the correct folder for your tool. And then to make everything backwards and forwards compatible, you'll want to include the MSDP dot objects into the third-party includes folder in the documents music SDP tree. And that hopefully does wrap up everything revolving around the module creation process. As I make more updates, I'll revisit this, but this should be everything that we need to know to get our processes fully working and functionally distributable. So thanks for watching this follow-up video, and have fun building.